Cementerio de Colón in Havana, designed by an international competition. It looks like a city. The architect that won the competition was the first person that was buried in the cemetery. My name is Jaime Canaves. I'm a professor at Florida International University with the School of Architecture. This is El Zoológico de La Habana, the zoo in Havana, and my grandfather construction company was right across the street, so it's an area that I know extremely well, and it's very easy for me to follow the route to my house. In here, where it had a look to the El Bosque de La Habana through la Avenida 36. So in this map, visually, you can find any detail that you want, including el Castillo del Príncipe, la Universidad de La Habana. You get to see the playing fields, Foxa Hotel, which was the tallest building in Havana and one of the tallest buildings in Latin America. And next to it, you can see the traditional Hotel Nacional. And of course, a beautiful shot of the Malecón. We have been working, gathering information for the last few years. The dream is to be able to do a physical computer model, architectural model of Havana, not only electronically, where in the computer it can be manipulated in any way, but do it physically also in a way that they are blocks and tiles that are interchangeable. Eventually there'll be development in Havana again, and the idea is to have this bank of data where anyone that is going to work in the future of Havana will have access to it and be able to see how their ideas will work with the existing shell of the architecture. We named the study that we're doing Mi Cuba, which is mapping and information about Cuba.
My name is Jennifer Gebeline. I'm an affiliated research professor in the Department of Earth and Environment, and my background is in physical geography. What physical geography is in my PhD research I did satellite image analysis of different areas of the world and did land use and land cover change over time. My region of specialty is in tropical coastal island areas, in particular in Cuba. So my research project in Cuba is essentially one that's developed into a book, a geographic perspective of Cuban landscapes. And what I've done is since 2003, I've compiled from about the mid to late 1970s satellite images, mosaicked them together of Cuba and looked at how it's changed over time in terms of categories of different vegetation types, agriculture, urban expansion, and things of that nature. Cuba is a very unique place to do fieldwork. It's like no other place I've ever been. I've been to islands throughout the Caribbean, tromped around, hiking, slogged my way through swamps. And Cuba is so unique and different. Cuba has not just one type of ecosystem, not just two types of habitat. It represents all of the different habitats and ecosystems that you see throughout the Caribbean. And it is truly amazing that on one island, there are cloud forests at the highest peaks. There are desert-like conditions for example, on the far eastern end of Cuba. When you pass Guantanamo and then you're on the road to Baracoa. If you go out to the far eastern end of Cuba, that is an amazing stratification of vegetation that I've never seen anywhere else in my studies in the Caribbean.
My name is Javier Francisco Ortega. I'm an associate professor of biology in FIU. I suppose you can see from my accent, I'm not from USA. I am from the Canary Islands, and I joined FIU in 1999. So most of my work here in Fairchild involves the use of DNA molecules to understand how island plants evolve. Calocoma, endemic from Cuba, the only plant in Cuba which is officially considered a national monument. To give you an idea how this plant is so important. It's a cycad, you can see. It doesn't have flowers. It has cones, like other gymnosperms, like pines, like the abies and so on. So it has cones, no flowers. This is a male. We have a female. I think there's a female here, but it doesn't have cones right now. What happened in Cuba with this palm, with this cycad, when you go to Cuba, you never see any seedling, you never see any young plants in the wild. We believe it's because the insect that moves the pollen between males and females has gone. It's extinct right now. This is a real unique thing in Cuba. Now, it's no surprising, no wonder why this cycad is being officially considered a national monument for the country. The plants we have here, they came to Fairchild long before the 50s. Right now it would be impossible, literally impossible to get these plants out of Cuba. They're totally protected. In Cuba, they grow only in the area of Viñales, that's where you have the mogotes in Pinar del Rio, and there is very rare, extremely rare in Cuba. One of the the rarest things we have in Cuba. Esta cicadácea que tenemos aquí se llama Microcicas calocoma y es sin duda una de las joyas principales del jardín. Como verán ustedes, la planta tiene conos, no tiene flores, por tanto es una gimnosperma. Este es un individuo masculino, el de aquí es femenino, pero ahora mismo no tiene conos. En Cuba, esta es la única especie que yo sepa que se considera un monumento nacional. ¿Por qué? Porque es una especie muy rara, muy antigua. Este grupo de plantas es el que existía al principio del terciario, hace como unos 300 millones de años, cuando había dinosaurios en el planeta. De nuevo, la especie es extremadamente importante y desde el punto de vista evolutivo es interesante porque hay otro grupo de cicadinas que se llaman las samias, que existen desde Bolivia hasta Georgia y tienen como unas 50 especies más o menos. Estas microcicas es el ancestro, o lo que une las samias con el resto del grupo de las cicadinas. Sin duda, una verdadera joya que tenemos en el Fairchild. I've been in Cuba 5 times and it's unique. I mean, also the garden itself, or the Fairchild, has a strong connection with Cuba historically since the 30s pretty much. Our founder, David Fairchild, he went to Cuba, he collected in Cuba, plant from Cuba to the garden. So for me, it has been unique. Also, for me personally, from my personal perspective, my family went to Cuba, not me, but my grandfather went to Cuba. All my family went to Cuba in the past. There are a lot of connections between Canary Islands and Cuba, a lot of connections that for me has been very important personally. When I went to Cuba, it's the only place in the world where they feel like at home, like in Canary Islands. Cuba is so similar to Canary Islands in everything. The way people, they say, do things, the architecture is so like being at home. I really like Cuba a lot from this point of view.